So we filed back in August a FOIA request, a Freedom of Information Act request. This was before Elon Musk took over Twitter. Basically to get information about the discussions that were going on between the FBI and the social media platforms related to election-related information involving the Bidens, involving a whole host of information. So we sent in this request like you normally do. We got a very interesting response back, which was, we've administratively closed the file. So then we filed what's called an administrative appeal. Inside the FBI, there's a process to appeal the denial of a Freedom of Information Act request. So here is the FBI's appeal that we did. American Center's the requester, and they did not even respond. Not even a response. Then, today is the day. Effective today, we can file a federal lawsuit against the FBI for their actions on this, which is precisely what we're going to do.
This is an unusual situation, and what it indicates to me, really, Jay, is that they don't want to disclose what is in their files with a vengeance. They don't want to disclose it. They want to stonewall us. They want to say that there's this exemption that applies or that exemption that applies. I've read our letter, and it is perfectly appropriate what we're asking for. But this is something in which they're circling the wagons to make sure that whatever they've got does not get out. And what that tells me is that there was improprieties taking place, that the FBI was involved in censorship or attempts at censorship. Put yourself on high alert, they were telling Facebook, in elections that they should not have been involved in. They were doing the things that are not only odious, but illegal. And we have caught them at it, and we are going to pursue them in federal district court very soon on this by filing a lawsuit and saying to them very simply, you can't just close your file.
You got the main player in all of this, the kind of the keeper of the keys to the kingdom, was the lawyer who was the general counsel of the FBI, Andy, and that would be, of course, Jim Baker. He leaves the FBI and ends up where? At Twitter as the deputy general counsel. He's now been terminated. So he's on both ends of this transaction, so to speak. So no wonder the FBI doesn't want to get this information out.
And how can James Baker live with himself with a conflict like this? He leaves the government, he goes to Twitter, and he's got conflicts all over the place, and he's protecting himself in many ways because of what he may have done at the FBI and what he may have done at Twitter. So he's coming up with these conflicting positions. I can't see how he can live with himself as a lawyer and have these conflicts existing as he does.
When you can hold the government accountable like this, their pushback is to ignore it, because in court, what's going to happen is they're going to have to disclose the information because by law, we're entitled to it.
They're delaying the inevitable. We will go to court, and we are going to court. Like you said, we have the complaint right here. We're going to ask that the court makes them turn over this information.
I think they're worried about it. My theory is, and again, it's just a theory, they're worried about it because they don't know what Elon Musk is going to do at Twitter. They don't know what he's going to disclose, what information he's going to put out there.
They've been caught utilizing the guy who weaponizes government, who tries to silence dissenting voices. And this is what is really scary. We need to have a media that puts checks on these people who weaponize government. There should be media pushback of James Baker. There should be media pushback on the outrage that we were finding out with Twitter, but yet there's not. And I think that in lies the whole problem, that these people are feeling emboldened to keep going after dissenting voices and crush their political opponents simply because there's no pushback. The media are not saying to them, stop, what are you doing? This is getting crazy.